Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 36 Chambers of Crypto Taxes. My name is Jamal Solomon, aka Crypto J. If you have noticed, and this is your third video, you're gonna be like, "Damn, Jamal, you're wearing the same shirt." Yes, because we knocked it out all in one take. So don't judge us, all right? But just listen to the information, and all will be well. And this is interview number 3 in our bookkeeping meets tax series. And right now, we're gonna do accrual versus cash. Vonmarie, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Vonmarie Thomas, and I am an advisor at Breakaway Bookkeeping and Advising. And what I do is help people with businesses and other legal entities have their straight records when it comes to their accounting and their financial information. So if you have any questions or want to reach out to me, you can always find me at breakawayba.com/Vonmarie.
And judging by the background, we're going to try to convince her to be one of our speakers for 2024 conference. I'm looking to the studio person. We're almost there to know what we're going to do and the date. So stay tuned and put some pressure on her. Say, hey, Vonmarie, talk at this conference, right, guys? So the third topic, all right, this is an interesting topic because I feel like most people are cash that I deal with. But let's break down the difference of cash versus accrual. Is there any pros and cons? Anything they should worry about, especially in the bookkeeping sense? So talk us through this.
Yeah, so when it comes to cash basis accounting, it's basically like whatever transactions happen in the year, you write them off like within that year immediately, even if it related to something that you're not going to receive until 2 years from now, or something that happened 2 years ago and now is that you're paying for it. It just basically captures the full amount in that particular tax year. So if it's accrual, you would have broken out like a large payment to a contract. I guess I'm trying to come up with an example. So you hired a consultant and the consultant said that they're going to bill you for the 3 years up front. And in cash world, you would write it off completely, the full 3 years. In accrual world, you would have separated out year 1, year 2, and year 3, and you're writing off only year 1 in that particular year. And then the next year you write off year 2, the year after that you write off year 3, and then you're left with like zero balance. So it depends. You might be able to write things off more quickly if you use cash basis, but it's not always the case. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that too, Jamal.
You know what? I had only few situations that they was absolutely forced. The entity was absolutely forced to use accrual based on whether they're trying to receive a grant or they trying to get government. In my world, with my set of clients, that's what I see. But usually, people like to keep it simple and like to do the cash basis. It's a little frustrating when they do cash and then they listen to some social media influencer and they want to do accrual and then they go back to cash and you can't really do that, people. And then it's the Jamal's the bad person type because I gotta tell you, like, you can't flip flop every year. Um, but I always wonder, like, what would be like if you're just setting up your accounting system, like they just come into you, Vonmarie, and they have no system, they just started. When should they really think about should they do a cash or accrual? Is that something that you consult with them, or what is that? How does that look like?
I mean, it depends on how big the business is. If they're just coming to me, then maybe it makes sense to do it cash basis. It's small and you can switch it up later on as you grow and have more consistent business. So yeah, it might make sense later on to switch to something where you're accruing, where you're taking advantage of, like, looking at what you're prepaying, what you're expecting in expenses later. Yeah, that it depends. It does depend.
Because I always wonder, the debate in my mind is, should the person go to the tax person first or the bookkeeper first? Like, other than
Mm,
if they're not forced to choose a certain form, who should it go? Because in my the debate is, okay, if you want to grow with bookkeeper, maybe they should see what their mindset is and see, does it make sense for you? But with the taxes, like you said, with the grow and all that stuff, I don't know.
yeah, I feel like they could go to you first, to someone like you first, to the tax accountant, because the tax accountant is going to have the tax strategy for them. But if you have absolutely no income, no expenses, nothing, like, it's hard to make a decision off of that. Like, yeah, if you're filing and it's year end and now you have a year's worth of information, you could possibly gauge what direction you're heading in, and then I feel like you can make a decision then.
I feel like also maybe the entity type that you have, whether you're S corp or stuff like that, maybe that might make a difference. Um, well, you should already know what your entity is already. Hmm. That's why I would say there's always the debate with the cash and accrual. But like, unfortunately, in my experience, like 99.9% of people are cash basis. But I think the major goal of this interview is that you should really think about it. Just don't allow somebody to say, hey, by the way, you're cash or you're accrual. Really think it through. That should be just like how some people pay a lawyer to set up their entity correctly. You want to really think about paying like a consultant. It doesn't need to be a tax accountant. It doesn't need to be a bookkeeper, but to have someone consult with you about how best to set it up financially and record keeping wise. And then everything will come to place there. So
Mhm.
just don't allow somebody like, you look like a cruel business. That's deeper than that, right?
No.
And then
Yeah.
may want to know the rules of when you could change it. Let's say you start off as cash, you want to know the rules of when you could change it or when you can't change it. And then when you have all that, then maybe you can have a better conversation with, like someone like myself or Vonmarie.
I was gonna say that, like, someone like myself, I could probably go through your records and do an analysis on whether or not, like, it makes sense what your P&L would look like when it's cash, what your P&L will look like when it's
Mm,
accrual basis. And you can evaluate the tax impact there, whether or not you want to open up a retirement account with the gain, with the profits in the business, right? Because then at that point you can make those kinds of decisions. But it's definitely a case by case basis. And if you do have financial transactions already, like the business did start running, then it does give you a little bit more insight into which direction you could possibly go. And you shouldn't be afraid to ask for your accountant or your bookkeeper to be able to forecast something like that. So that's regular.
all right, you sounded kind of modest when I asked you who should they go first. It sounded like they should go with you first because you sound like, you got the charts, you like ready to go with the reports. It's
I
it's game
mean,
time. Just
yeah,
give me the receipts.
I could probably give the reports to you and you can make the final decision too. You with
Mm,
whoever the financial advisor is, right? Someone that advises you on your investments and your retirement planning. They would also have some kind of input, right? As to, is it more, do you want to end the year with a profit of this amount? And what do you want to do with that money, right? Because it's either going to be taxed or you can just reroute it into some other kind of savings vehicle, depending on what you have set up. So,
and guys, you should create your dream team. And I think I'm a little older than Vonmarie. I don't know if she even remembers the Dream Team, the original Dream Team. We're not talking about these new cats, the Michael Jordans and all of them. Create your own dream team. And when I talk to my clients, their business dream team should be, financially speaking, investor, financial advisor, bookkeeper, tax accountant, you, and sometimes the investment advisor is different than a retirement person. So insurance,
Mhm.
insurance,
Insurance and your
because
lawyer.
y'all and the lawyer,
Yeah.
because you do not want to, like, if you miss out any of those, you could be like one wrong mistake, especially insurance. You know what? Try to find someone. I got an insurance license, people, which is sad, but I'm gonna find someone to talk about insurance because you got to know about that. I'm glad you brought in insurance, also,
I
but
have people for you, Jamal. If
oh,
you, I have my new
I know that's
BNI
how we got
crew.
introduced. It's a financial
Yeah,
advisor. Yeah, so
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna interview him. We got to reconnect. Because guys, don't don't fall into a trap of just having that one all person. I don't encourage my clients to ask me everything. I know a little bit about a lot, but I don't want me to be the end all be all. Go to the insurance person, go to the legal person, go to the bookkeeper, go to the tax accountant, the lawyer and stuff like that, because they trained to do that. Like, just because I say it may be good to do something, oh, come on, you gotta do some extra work. Dude, pay the extra person. Like, come on. It's to protect your business. So guys, so I think the main thing that we're trying to say, I guess we still gonna have this battle, is that have a real discussion, even if you like been doing it business for a long time, have a real discussion with someone just by seeing what makes sense for you. Just don't assume that cash is just the best for you. Just don't assume that accrual is the best for you. It will save you a lot of money in taxes if you take the time to really think it through. All right, guys. So stay tuned. We got two more. I encourage y'all to listen to all 5 videos. This is the 5th one. We intentionally keeping each one of them short because Lord knows we could talk about an hour on each topic. So really take the time to listen to it, and I guarantee you're going to save a lot of money, guys. All right. Peace.